And if you're the first time to catch the Hour of the Angry RVer, you are in for a treat, folks. That is, if you want to hear the truth about what some buyers of new RVs are experiencing or have experienced with RVs that they have, well, they've been slapped together and some of them are actually falling apart. I am your host for the Angry RVer, Alan Warren here, RV enthusiast, consumer advocate, and your wingman. I believe it's time to level the playing field between the RV industry and consumers by providing you, our listeners, with valuable info that you can use. Now, my guest this hour, he is one of the smartest people in the country when it comes to protecting RVers who have purchased a Lemon RV. He has been on the show before, and he is super, super smart. If you believe that you may have a Lemon RV, or you know somebody that has a Lemon RV, they need to listen this hour to our badass RV lawyer, Ron Burdge. Welcome back to the show, Ron.
Thank you, Alan. Good to be here.
Well, it's so good to hear you again. So you have been representing RVers against manufacturers for quite some time. Give us a little bit of background, and then I want to know how things have changed over the years.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 35 years, representing consumers and RV manufacturers, and I've only been an attorney for 40 years. But it's really been a fun time watching the problems and trying to help people straighten out their problems and get rid of bad RVs and make manufacturers do what's right.
And how have things changed in that 35 years? I guess your business, looking from the internet, looks like you're doing pretty well. Thank you very much.
Well, I can thank the RV industry for that, or I'd probably be writing wills or something instead of having fun.
I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but seriously, it looks like you are some kind of busy dude.
I am. I was over in the other side of the state of Ohio today on a court case and drive all the way back, about a 5-hour drive to get here tonight to see my wife, since I hadn't seen her for 2 days.
Now, since nobody thinks that they're buying a Lemon RV, how long does it generally take them to, till the honeymoon is over and the reality that, we got some problems and we may have bought a Lemon? How long is that honeymoon usually?
I'd say that honeymoon, depending on the way the dealer delivers and sells it and everything, because a lot of the schmoozing depends on the dealer. But if they do a really good hand-holding job, the consumer may not really recognize the seriousness of the problems they have for as much as 2 or 3 months. But usually within 2 or 3 months, they begin to see the problems arise, and it's really a matter of how many are going to be there and how bad they're going to be.
What could they have done in the beginning, Ron, before they took delivery of the RV to prevent this from happening? Because, I mean, some of this stuff you can't see with the naked eye. It just sort of develops, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true. There are some defects that simply take a little bit of time to show up, which is one of the reasons why RV companies give you typically a 1-year warranty, and when it's in the shop, they don't extend that warranty at all, even though it's tied up in the shop and you can't use it, because they know if they can get the customer beyond that 1-year point, at that point, the customer's on their own, and they can do whatever they want or whatever they don't want to do to the customer.
Oh, I want to, we've got you for the entire hour, and I want to ask you at the get-go to explain to me about full-time RVers, because I ran into some people the other day. They said they're going to be full-timers. They went to the dealership. They told the salesperson, look, we're going to be full-time, and the salesperson said, that's okay, just don't let the manufacturer know about it. And what's that all about?
That's the dealer helping them commit a fraud in order to get around the warranty disclaimer that the dealer doesn't want them to realize is there before they sell them the RV and the dealer gets his money. Once the customer's out the door, then they figure it's up to the customer to figure out how to deal with the problem they may have. Full timing is routine in the industry, and there are some things that a buyer can do to try to protect himself a little better, but taking the word of the dealer is the last thing. That just simply isn't something you can count on at the end of the day. But there is a way to get around that.
How?
Well, if you're out to do full timing and the dealer is telling you that the RV that they're selling you can be used full timing, then have the dealer write it on the face of the sales contract. Just have the dealer write down, this RV will work for full timing use and it doesn't hurt your warranty. If they write that on there, They are giving you a warranty that you can use that RV for full timing without losing your factory warranty. And by having written it on there, that becomes a warranty in and of itself.
Now, honestly, how many?
That's what you got to do.
How many dealers are going to do that, Ron? I mean, come on.
Well, put $70,000 on the table and say, write it on there, you don't get my money, and you'll probably see them jump to do it. At the end of the day, they know that the factory is going to be the one they're going to push the warranty claim to.
Why aren't the buyers told this kind of thing and other warranty, the fine print and warranties? Is it simply because the dealers just want to get these things out the door and pocket the money? I mean, there's so many things that are fine print that the buyer thinks that it's like buying a truck or a car, and these are going to be my friends for years and years and years. But they leave the dealership and then they come back with a problem RV, and it's like, hey, yeah, don't you remember me? And they don't even know who these people are.
Yeah, and you got to get in line to get work done. And
wow.
You may not be able to get into the shop with your bad RV for a month, 2 months, or 3 months. Meanwhile, all you know is you're making a monthly payment. And that's just really outrageously bad, considering what the industry already is fully aware of about the quality of what they're building in the first place.
In general, today's RVs that are coming off the assembly line compared to 10 years ago or 12 years ago, big difference in quality or about the same?
Big difference, big difference in quality. Before the crash of 08 and 09 in that time frame, there was such a thing as quality that existed in the industry. But after that, you could virtually see it overnight as the industry manufacturers began to figure out, okay, we've got to survive this recession. How do we do that? How do we still make money but save money? And they very quickly hit upon the idea that, well, the way you save money is just build a cheaper product, build it faster and cheaper and easier, find a different way of paying your employees that saves you money on payroll, and then keep the price the same or maybe even jack it up a little bit.
You know, I talk to people. We own an RV park, in Texas. I talk with hundreds of people a month that have RVs, and I try to give them some input and some perspective. But I feel like I'm my dad talking to myself when I was a teenager. Don't do this and be careful of that. I can see their eyes begin to glaze over. They tell me, the dealer's so nice, and they promise, just make a little list and they'll fix everything. And most of the RVs are okay, but there are too many of them, at least in my view, that are not okay. And when you got a lemon, you are just up what creek, and you got to call a Ron Burdge.
You are up a creek because you're paddling really hard to go upstream in a river that is pushing you down from the manufacturer's level. The reality is that you have to be very careful before you buy if you're going to avoid the problem as much as you can. But even though you might try, the odds are pretty good you're going to get a bad RV in the first place. It seems like from what I have seen over the last 10, 20 years, people either get a good RV or they get a bad one. And if they get a bad one, it's just a matter of how bad one. And what day of the week they get built on.
And on RV horror stories, on the group page on Facebook, there are hundreds and hundreds of these terrible stories, and they're just sad. What are some of the biggest things that bother you from your perspective that you see happening at the manufacturer level that's going to affect the consumer?
It seems like every manufacturer is out to save a buck. And the bottom line is that customer loyalty no longer matters to the manufacturers as much as it used to, as a general rule. So it used to be that they counted on buyers coming back 4 or 5 years down the road to get another new RV of the same make. And I think it's gotten to the point where they really don't care that much because they know if they build a bad one and a manufacturer's customer goes and buys from some other brand, well, the people who bought that other brand probably got a bad one, and they'll just come to them, and so it all evens out at the end of the day. So they're not really losing money by getting away with the degradation of the quality that used to exist in the industry.
And then they're selling 20-year loans. I mean, for an RV that may not last half that long.
That is a real problem, and a good example of that is the family up in Maine that was on their way to Canada, and the RV quite literally fell apart around their ears. Well, they're stuck with a long-term loan. All
right, Ron, hang on. We're gonna be back after this quick timeout. Folks, if you'd like to share your RV horror story, 855 296-7469. Be right back with Ron Burdge.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
Ron Burdge, our badass RV lemon law lawyer, is on our guest line. We're talking about RV horror stories. If you're an angry RVer, give us a shout. 855-296-7469. Ron, we got some callers coming in. Can we jump on the line and see if we can help them?
Sure.
All right, let's run on out to Louisiana and say hi to Jude. How you doing, Jude?
I'm doing just fine. Thanks for the call.
You betcha. So tell us what you got. It says that you've got a motor home and you're not so happy with it.
No, I'm not. Well, it's the service. It's the runaround. It's the time that they keep my motorhome. We bought this new in 2017. It's a Jayco Red Hawk XD26. And so far I've had 14 different issues with it. And 5, 6 of them have been corrected. But it's like we're always waiting, my wife and I, we're always waiting to see what's next. We just took a 2-week trip down to Florida, and during the night at our first stop, there was a thunderstorm, and when we got ready to leave in the morning, when I closed the bedroom slide out, all the water just rushed in to the bedroom. So when I got up there to see what was going on, I had to climb up on the roof. Well, the material on the roof of the slide out is all bunched up in the corners, so that rubber gasket can't really sweep the water off. There's about a ½ an inch gap, so when it slides in, it just dumps the water in the bedroom. That's the latest thing.
Hey, Jude, you said you bought it in spring of, was it this year or last year?
March of 17.
Ron, is he out of warranty? What should he do?
Jayco's usually have a 2-year warranty, so you're not out of warranty in all likelihood. Take a look at the one in your owner manual to be sure about that. But you're probably still covered by a warranty. I think what you need to start doing is complain like the Dickens. You know, when we were all kids, we always heard at one time or another somebody say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and that is still true. But it's a matter of consistently and persistently complaining and do it in writing, documenting it every time you turn around. Don't just use one media. Don't make a phone call. Also make a phone call, write a letter, send an email, and send a certified mail. The more you complain, the more likely it is somebody's going to get rid of you and take care of your problem, purely because they want to stop hearing about the complaining, more so than they want to make sure you got a good customer here who's loyal to the Jayco brand or any other brand.
Jude, is your problem with Jayco or with the dealer or with both?
I would say both, but a lot of these issues with my motorhome could have been caught at the factory. But my gut feeling tells me that they just let it slide on out because I have a 2-year warranty. So, when it gets to the person that buys it and finds these issues, well, they'll go back to the dealership. That's my own opinion. But let's see, back in April, we took a trip, and it was up in Arizona, and it was freezing. And the night that we get down to in the 20s, the bathroom would blow cold air. There was no heat coming out of it. So when I took it to the dealership, they kept it for about 2 or 3 weeks, and the technician said, well, that's not a 4-season motor coach. So when I get on the phone with Jayco, they said, well, that's correct, but you should still have hot air coming out of there. I said, well, it's just blowing cold air. So what do I believe? I mean, I get the runaround. When I bring my unit in, they don't have technicians where I bought this motorhome from. On top of my motorhome, before we left on this last trip, I treated and conditioned the roof, and they were supposed to replace 5 marker lights. All the marker lights on the roof above the cab have water in them, droplets, a lot of it. They were supposed to take care of that. Well, they didn't, and they scuffed up my roof. They drug something across the roof, and I have black marks like 2 lines about 12 foot long. That's just scuffed up in there.
Who's your dealer, Jude? Jude, who's your dealer? Who'd you buy it from?
Dixie RV in Hammond, Louisiana.
I've heard of Dixie. You heard of Dixie RV, Ron?
Yes, I have.
What does he do? I mean, it's just...
And that tells you something. When I'm clear up in Ohio and I've heard about it.
So just document and keep going back. Do you go back to should he go back to the same dealer? Should he find a different dealer? I mean, because it seems like to me, you know, they want to run the clock out. Like somebody that's ahead in a football game, all you got to do is just stall and run the clock out. You win the game. Once they get out of warranty, this guy, you know, Jude is screwed.
There's some truth to that. There is some truth to the idea that they just want to run the clock out of it. I think what you got to do is complain like the dickens to the selling dealer and complain to the factory, and start making phone calls to the factory and ask them where they want you to take it, and make notes of everything that is being said by them when you talk with them, and keep track of all that stuff. Just as sure as you keep track of all that, they'll take care of you and your problems go away. And as sure as you don't keep track of it, later on you'll wish you did.
Well, I take photographs of everything. I keep my emails and my text and all that. But this last trip that we were on, the mirror on the vanity started sliding down. So I had to, they have these little square head screws. I had to improvise to get the screws out to take the door off. Was the mirror slid down about 3 inches, and it's held on with double adhesive tape. So I call up, I sent an email to Jayco along with photographs. And they said, yeah, we're aware that happened in the past. Just use some epoxy. So I have to deal with it, what they're telling me. You know, I just bought this thing. I spent over $50,000 on it, and I'm having one issue after the other, and it's always something different. So, you know, and I'm retiring in this March. We were planning on taking trips out west and all, and I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel... I don't know. I don't have a problem with the Ford part of it. It's the Jayco cabin and their stuff.
That just kills me to hear stories like that, Jude and Ron. I know, Ron, you hear them all the time too. Well, you know, if Jude does what you say, he documents everything, and he's a pain in the rear because he has to be. He sounds like a reasonable man. I don't think I could be that calm. But at the end of, when does he need to start thinking about, maybe I need to get a lawyer? He's got it March of 2017, so he's got, 6 more months or so. When does he need to start thinking about, I'm going to go to plan B and hire me a hired gun?
If you want to look at points in the process of owning an RV, when you ought to be thinking, okay, is this getting bad enough that I need to talk to a lawyer? The first point you need to get to is where you begin to know the service manager at any dealership by first name. Because if you do, then you got a problem. You should never know the service people better than you know the salespeople or anybody else, because when you do, you're in there too much. But the other thing to look at is the 6-month point and then the 9-month point after you bought the RV. And you got to look at the warranty and see. If you got a 2-year warranty, you got more time. If you got the typical 1-year warranty, not Jayco, but somebody else's perhaps, where you only get 1 year, then you got to look to see where you are at the 6-month point. Are you having so many problems that you're afraid that things are not going to get fixed?
Hey, guys, I got to jump in, and we got to go to break. Jude, I hope that was a little bit of help. Thank you so much, and best of luck. Hopefully we'll talk to you again with a pleasant story. Ron, hang on. We're heading to Florida after the break with another angry RVer. Folks, this is the RV Show USA, 855-296-7469.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
All right, we're back with the country's #1 radio show about the RV lifestyle. We have RV Lemon Law lawyer Ron Burdge on our guest line. And in case you want to visit, the phone number here, 855-296-7469. Let's go down to Florida. Hiya, Terry. What's going on?
Hey, Ron. Good evening.
Ron, are you there?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm here. Good evening.
All right, so Terry, what you got?
Well, we went to the RV show in Tampa, Florida on June the 10th, and we purchased our 2019 Thor 31 SE, and we went and picked it up on June the 30th. We had to go to Jacksonville to pick it up because Tampa didn't sell the particular model that we bought. Well, we went there, we went through the walkthrough. During the walkthrough, the radio didn't work, the sink was clogged, they had to unclog that. They asked us if we wanted a maxi air vent over our bathroom vent. We said yes, we paid for it, we paid for the installation. So now they're going to replace my radio. 5 o'clock, we sat there all day. All right, we finally fixed your radio. Here's your keys. You can go on your way. So we go on our way. Everything seems to be working. We're not 30 minutes into our way home, and our radio starts strobing like a strobe light, like we were in a disco bar. And
after they fixed it, after they took all afternoon to fix it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And then the shrouding between the two seats, where the cup holders and everything are, it got so hot and it was radiating heat so bad you couldn't even touch it. You literally would have gotten burnt. So at this point now, we've opted to turn the radio off. We drive home. We have no backup camera. We have no side turn cameras. We have nothing. We're going through a horrific rainstorm. We finally get back to Tampa, and a roof leak from where they had installed the maxi vent. So the very next day, my husband takes it to General RV in Tampa, tells them everything that's wrong. The radio is strobing and everything that's really wrong with it. General RV had it for about 2.5 weeks. Called and said it's ready, come pick it up. We went and picked it up. As far as we know, the roof is fine. It hasn't leaked. He's halfway home, and the radio starts again. He turns right around and takes it right back to the dealer and says, "You didn't fix my radio." So he says, "Look, keep it. Do what you need to do. Get it fixed. I just need it for July the 16th because I'm going to Stone Mountain in Georgia. They'll call us 2 days before we're supposed to leave. Radio's fixed. Everything's done. Come and get it." We went up and we got it. We head on out like 2 days later to Stone Mountain, and the damn radio starts all over again. And the turn cameras aren't working right. Okay,
and this is a brand new RV. This is a brand new Thor.
Absolutely brand new. The only miles it had is where they drove it from Indiana to Jacksonville. It's the only mileage it had on it.
Ron, we were talking earlier. Hang on just a second, Terry. I was asking you, Ron, how long the honeymoon lasts on some of these RVs. It sounded like it lasted for Terry and her husband about less than an hour before things started breaking.
Yeah, unfortunately, that sometimes is the case. And the thing I always recommend to people is never buy an RV at an RV show. Use that as the opportunity to shop, and then actually buy when you can actually see the metal at the dealer for the unit you're looking to actually drive home with. And then fly spec that thing to make sure that anything that is wrong with it is fixed before you ever sign on the dotted line. They'll do almost anything to get your signature, including fix things that are wrong with it. Once you've got it, then you're going to go through the kind of things that Terry's talking about, where you go back to have it fixed, and they tell you it's fixed, and it doesn't get fixed. And you may end up with more problems going wrong than what you went in there for in the first place. And then eventually they drag you out week after week, month after month, make another appointment. Meanwhile, the clock is running on your warranty. And that's just fundamentally not fair to the buyer, but it's what they do.
Terry, can I have a feeling that your misadventure continues. We got to jump for a break. You want to hang on and continue this after the commercial?
Sure, no problem.
All right, good deal. Ron, can you hang with us as well?
Sure thing.
All right, folks, we're talking to Terry from Florida, who's got she got a Thor motorhome. She's not too happy with it, and who can blame her? And we've got RV Lemon Law lawyer Ron Burdge on the line to try to help. Our phone number here, 855-296-7469. Be right back with the RV Show USA.
The RV Start living the RV dream today.
All right, your RV wingman, Alan Warren, back with you, along with RV Lemon lawyer Ron Burdge, and we're taking calls. We've got Terry from Florida who is sharing her RV horror story on a Class C motorhome she bought from General RV down there in Florida. So, Terry, where did we leave off? You were going up to Stone Mountain, I think, in Georgia.
We were. One thing that I forgot to mention is when my husband took it back to General the second time, as he just made the U-turn and took it back, my husband and the service guy took the shrouding part off that was getting really hot, and all the wires are laying there loose. That's why everything was getting so hot. That could have caught on fire had they not found it. So anyway, we're at Stone Mountain. Everything's going great. We're hooking up, and, we're putting the jacks down until we go take a shower. And we have no hot water. Water runs hot like the count of 10, and then it goes stone cold. Then it'll come back hot for just a couple of seconds, and then it goes stone cold. All right, so we come back from Stone Mountain. My husband calls Thor, and he says, look, I don't like General RV. I don't think they know what they're doing. Tell me someplace else I can take it. So we took it right over here in Clearwater to a dealership, Haberson, who is absolutely wonderful. We took it in. We told them what the problems were. They kept it for like 2 weeks, got the radio fixed. They were wonderful. They got everything fixed. They found out what was wrong with the hot water. They fixed that. They called us, said, come pick it up. Yeah, we did. We went and picked it up. That weekend, we took it to a local campground right around the corner from us, and we were going to stay there Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night for a long weekend. My husband calls me at work on Friday, and he's like, don't even come. I'm like, why? Air conditioner went up. We packed up. We took it back to Haberson. They were waiting to get permission from Thor. I finally got a hold of this gentleman at Thor. He is the Consumer Protection Liaison. His name is Jeremy Pratt or something like that. I finally got a hold of him only because I did a Better Business Bureau complaint in Indiana, and he had sent me a registered letter, so that's how I knew how to get a hold of him. And I said, Jeremy, look, I don't know what your problem is, but they've been waiting for 2 weeks just for an authorization for an air conditioner. Oh, Terry, no problem. I'll get right on that. It just takes a click with my computer. Why the hell didn't you do that before?
Ron,
you've known all the problems that we've been having.
Ron, how common are stories like Terry's and Jude's in the previous caller? How common are these stories for you to hear as a lawyer?
They're awfully common, frankly. It just happens way, way too many times. There's not enough support to help customers take care of problems expediently at the factory level. Dealers are stuck because they can't go ahead and make a repair in many circumstances without getting factory authorization in advance, or they don't get paid for doing the work. Well, they're not going to do the work and not get paid, so they're sitting there waiting for an approval. Meanwhile, the factory is running around chasing its tail, trying to figure out, should we approve? And part of the reason that there's a delay is because, like, for instance, with an air conditioner or whatever, they will go to the supplier that they bought it from, and they'll argue with them to get an authorization before they give an authorization to the dealer. And meanwhile, you're sitting out there waiting for them to get the job done. You just want to get in the RV and get back to camping. And none of that process that they're using is helping the customer get it done expediently.
So, Terry, you got your RV in June. How many times have you actually been able to use it without a problem?
6 days. Well, without a problem, none. We used it for 6 days without hot water.
Wow. Do you blame Thor, or do you blame General RV, or I guess you blame everybody? What I mean?
Well, I'm kind of a compassionate person sometimes. I understand that things are mechanical. The mechanical things are going to break. I understand that. And I understand that these units are put together, they're man-produced. Human error is going to exist there.
Well,
But
Terry, can I interrupt you right
response
there?
time, there's no excuse for poor response time. None.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I agree with you, Terry, but I think that what you've got to remember right off the bat is this excuse about they are mechanical things and human error and they're put together by people and problems happen, that is all a bunch of malarkey. The reality is if they wanted to make them right, they would make them right. They're not going to make them right until enough customers complain, and complain like the dickens or get lawyers or sue them or whatever. When the economic interest of the manufacturer is to do the job right, they'll start doing it right. Right now, it's cheaper to hire people like Jeremy and other people at different factories who will just give the customer what they want to hear, but not bother pushing the button on the computer to make things happen. There's no such thing as an RV that can't be built right. It's a matter of wanting to build it right. And that means they've got to understand the economics of the situation, and it's better for them to build them right in the first place than to deal with the problems that people have later on. And right now,
You're absolutely
it's
right.
better for them to make the customer live with the problem.
So it sounds like Terry needs to, like you said in the previous caller, document. Don't go away and be a pain in the rear and write it. Be in there in a nice way, but be on their radar screen constantly until this problem goes away, get solved.
I totally agree with that. And one other thing I would add is think about it. If you buy a Ford or a Chevy or a Chrysler or any kind of a car, if you had problems with it, like you've had with an RV, would you put up with it only being able to fully use it maybe one day out of a month or whatever? Of course we wouldn't do that. Well, there's no reason the RV industry shouldn't be treated the same way. When they get treated the same way, maybe they'll start building things right so that people like Terry and Jude can get what they pay for.
Awesome. Terry, we got to call it there. We're running up against a break. Hopefully that was some help, and we wish you the very best, okay?
All right. Thank you very much, Ron.
All right.
You're very welcome.
So Ron, we are up against the break. I know that you've got so much more information. Next time, I think we want to get you on and with no callers because you've got that the list of 10 things. So can we get you on again real soon?
Sure. I'm always available, especially at the hours you have your show, because I'm at the end of the day, and it's easy that way.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll send everybody we can to, to Lemon Law, RVlemonlaw.com, right?
You got it.
All right. You take
got it.
care. Thanks much. All right, folks, RVlemonlaw.com. We'll be right back after this.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
As I mentioned in our last hour's monologue, I've sort of morphed into a wingman for RVers, the person who looks out for the fighter pilot, keeps an eye on things that the fighter pilot can't see because they are focused on the mission. Can you imagine what a disaster it would be if a fighter pilot did not have a wingman? So as your wingman here in terms of RVing and camping, I want to help you avoid making those monumental mistakes that can cost you literally tens of thousands of dollars and could destroy you financially. It really could. To all you listeners who have an RV, what do you wish you would have known before you bought your RV that you now know? What do you wish you would have known? What do you wish that you would have done? What do you wish you would have? Who would you have listened to? Who should you have listened to before you bought your RV? Why do they say that hindsight is 20/20? Well, it's because we can all be blind. We can. We are blind when we are in love, and we don't know what we don't know. As your wingman, I want to bring up things that you may want to think about, may want to consider before making one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. I don't want anybody to regret their decision on buying a new RV. I don't want you to end up hating the new RV dealer you bought your RV from. Unfortunately, though, I see too many people making mistakes buying a new RV, and they are many of them completely avoidable. How? Well, it starts by realizing that just because you can afford a new RV doesn't mean you should buy a new RV. If you don't know much about RVs and RVing and the potential downside of RVing, you are a prime candidate for making a whopper of a bad decision. The biggest thing I want to get across is to encourage buyers, take your time and go slow. You know, I met some folks the other day that were getting ready to buy their very first RV. It was a 41-foot fifth wheel. They don't even have a vehicle to pull it yet. They are so in love with the floor plan, they said. And they said the salesperson is so nice. A brand new $90,000 fifth wheel. I asked them, I said, how much time have y'all spent doing research on the dealer, on their reviews? How many RV group pages about RV or owner horror stories have you guys, how many group pages do you belong to? They looked at me like, huh? I could tell they didn't want me or anybody to spoil their dream of RV ownership. And I do not want to be negative. I hope they get a good one. I really do. But too many buyers of new RVs don't. Then they regret not listening, not investigating, and not slowing down. So as your wingman, I wish you smooth sailing. As your radio buddy, I promise to continue to be as honest as possible and steer you in the right direction while at the same time helping you avoid those bogeys that can shoot you down. For y'all thinking of a wingman while you're dating, a good wingman there is looking out for your own good, not just for tonight, but for a lifetime. Thanks to our badass lemon law RV lawyer, Ron Burdge. He is awesome, isn't he? To our callers, to our great sponsors, and to each one of y'all for listening. I am Alan Warren, and the way we spell love is T-I-M-E. We spend it with family and friends making memories and enjoying the RV lifestyle. I'll see you next time.